just on this point, okay, I really want us to say something about the people we can label them to be jack of all trades, because
You speaking. If you want to talk to me there.
you know, the negative scope or the slope of that kind of identity is that you actually don't achieve anything.
That's what superficially people think. But
yeah, you feel like
it actually depends on the individual, because it also stems from like what God has told me to actually do with the many gifts that He's given me. So I might have had the opportunity to serve here, do this, do that, but at this point in my life, which one is relevant and more, so to say, it's in more demand for me to give out?
so.
And what is necessary? And what will I just use as like a later or something? I think that held me a bit.
We've seen ups and downs. I know you don't understand the things that I say. I just to say it anyway. I never put it on the way. This means a lot to me. This means a lot to me. It's family time.
Okay, madam, welcome back.
Pause. We are all set. You're saying madam. Which one is madam?
Sorry. That's okay. So that brings us to self-reliance, the ability to take care of yourself in order to align your goals with you being able to think independently. Now, see, it's different, not over-rely, but now think independently in order to bring forth seeds you can plant and actually achieve success. What's your take on it?
Yeah, so everything starts from the mind. So if you are watching us and you always struggle to make decisions or to think independently, you always have to rely on what someone says and fine tune it before you can make it your own. I think it starts from the mind.
Yeah.
But how to actually get to the stage of self-reliance? I think that you have to. I think this will be the third time I've used this term since we started.
Yeah, use it.
To have an introspective analysis of yourself.
Exactly.
To discover your abilities, your weaknesses, and all that. I think it will help you to first off know what you can and what you cannot do. But in spite of that, God has given all of us the ability to think and make decisions.
Okay, so with what you said, let's look at the science aspect of that. Let's look at the psychological aspect. So the ability to think psychologically. Elaborate.
You have, what should I use even as an example? It doesn't have to be like any big task or anything. You want to be able to achieve this goal. You need to be able to sit down, write out your thoughts, and deep thinking. I don't know how to explain like deep thinking.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that so being able to sit down, is it a hurdle I can jump or not?
No, I don't think it.
Can I jump it in terms of saying, okay, I won't sit down? Psychologically, I want to think. Should I have to sit down and write before? Is it a hurdle I can jump to the next phase?
I don't think you can jump. You are jumping thinking to do what?
Not necessarily thinking, but saying that, okay, writing, we are linking that to really analyzing, saying that these are the to-dos and these are the don't-dos. Okay. I have followed this pattern for years and my life has been stuck in it's been a roller coaster. It's a circle. I'm going around like a circumference. I'll just come back to the same spot I started. What is that hurdle? The hurdle I can jump to be like, okay, now I can't jump this thing. I've been jumping this thing. I'm coming right back to where I started. Coming back right back to where I started over and over and over again. Okay, now I want to sit down and think. I don't want to be self-dependent. I don't want to be over-reliant. I want to be self-reliant. I want to now have a vision for my life. Where do I begin from?
That's a tough question.
Because we have already said that everything starts from the mind. That is established. Everything starts from the mind. So now I have the mental awareness to be like, okay, now I have seen there is nothing that is speaking for me in terms of what I really want to do. I've gotten to a point that I've realized that the processes or the principles that regulate my life are outdated. It's not producing results and it's making me being stagnant. Okay, I have looked in principles, I have looked in what to do, and I really think that I am over-reliant. One, that is self-dependent. And two, I am not self-reliant. That means I'm not able to take care of myself. I'm not able to understand myself, in a structure or at an angle where I need to really build and see, okay, I have achieved one in month one. In month two, this is the next phase. Okay, what is actually the first, or in your own understanding, the first principle I can lay down that is going to change the whole game for me?
I think you can put down structures in place. So, as you just said, you identify that this is what you are able to do efficiently, and this is what you are not. You can start from
Good. Yeah, you see, that is where the science come in. We now start analyzing about what we can do and what we can't do.
and knowing yourself is paramount. So you know the things that you can achieve in a very limited time frame, and so you start with those ones, but then you always put systems in place. That's why if you've not watched our previous episode, this is where I'll recommend that.
Highly recommended.
When we talked about systems and all that. So you write out your goals, what you want to achieve. Now you know the ones you can efficiently do. And then you create systems where you are trapped to actually keep the thinking process going. But thinking it's not something you can actually jump to get to like your final goal. You should always like think through whatever that you want to achieve. So you sit down. If the writing is not, I don't even think I could recommend that you only think and not write.
Okay.
Go hand in hand.
So they go hand in hand. We will come to that. Just on this point, okay, I really want us to say something about the people we can label them to be jack of all trades. Because
Speaking, if you want to talk to me directly.
Don't be passing through the corners.
Through the corners.
It's like I'm speaking to myself too, because I really feel like I used to think I was that particular kind of person. I really felt I was in that kind of line. I could do.
You can do everything,
so I have to do everything. And the negative scope or the slope of that kind of identity is that you actually don't achieve anything.
But you think that's what superficially people think. But
yeah, you feel like
it actually depends on the individual. Because we have jack of all trades who are.
You didn't add the ending of the statement. Owner of none. Jack of all trades.
Master of none.
Or owner of none.
But there's also an ending to that.
Okay, so it's not about diversification. Okay, diversification is different from you being jack of all trades. Diversification, I would say, is like you have narrowed down to be like, okay, this is what I can do. Now you've scaled it up to a point where you have enough resources or you have enough earnings, value, and now you want to just divide it and make sure that the value you've earned is functioning at different areas and different scopes and spaces where it also has the potential to scale and bring more value. So diversification and you being jack of all trades, I think there is a thin line where we should look at. So I really wanted to sit down, narrow it down. That was the point. And I'm saying that let's look at people we can contextualize. Okay, jack of all trades. Because so it got to a point in my life. I'm using my life as an example where I couldn't even narrow down. Today I feel like I want to do this. Tomorrow I would have to. You see, that is where we said in the previous episode that you can't really rely on motivation, because there should be a structured discipline or a system that actually regulates your life in order for you to be like grounded and streamlined, to be like, I want to do this and this is what I want to do in order to achieve success. So I wanted us to look at people we can say, okay, see, jack of all trades. They want to do everything. They want to be everywhere. They want to be involved in everything. Okay. I can do this, I can do this, I can sing, I can write, I can. Do you really think? It's not even do you really think? If you are a person, you identify yourself as that type, of which we have traits, we have the traits to be those kind of people. I know you are, I've known you to be good at everything you do. You are a good actor, a good singer, a good orator. You have the potential to be one of the most wonderful orators of our generation. Bar none, I think you have that quality. And I really have an idea that it really dropped in my spirit. We will discuss that behind closed doors. This is open doors. We will discuss that behind closed doors. But I'm just saying that you have that nature. I have that. Okay. How can a person like that narrow down and say, you know what? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You see? But I have to remain grounded and have a vision or an aim and say, for the time being, I know I can and could do it if I wanted to, but I'll stick with this one.
I think I have two sides to that.
Mhm.
There are things that are needed and necessary
Mhm.
and demanding. And there are also things that you kind of like do it for pleasure or as a way of leisure. There are a number of things I can do, but how many of them are necessary
That is the point.
for me to do to actually make like quality impact? Some things I do them like at my leisurely hour. I can do it, and it also stems from like what God has told me to actually do with the many gifts that He's given me. So I might have had the opportunity to serve here, do this, do that. But at this point in my life, which one is relevant and more, and so to say, it's in more demand for me to give out?
So,
and what is necessary? And what will I just use as like a leisure or something? I think that held me a bit.
okay, so you as a you are a scientist. Okay, you are.
I'm a scientist. I want to go into academia. I mean, I love
Look ahead.
I'm into music. I was a drama director on campus.
Yeah, you were
Choreography, drama.
and it's not like you've stopped. You still do what you do. You still do what you do. You are an artist. You are an MD. The last week play was, I think it was amazing. I think you had the best cast for that particular project. But
for anyone who doesn't know, go on to Holy Hill Chapel page.
Shout outs to Holy Hill Chapel.
See me in full action.
Yeah, in full action.
Sorry for interrupting your listening, and I would like to take this time to thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. We, the team on TD Podcast, would really appreciate it if you keep on hitting the subscribe button, keep on sharing, and keep on liking our videos. This gesture will help us to go a long way to keep on bringing you exciting and educating episodes. And so we are very grateful that you're going to do this for us. And as always, thank you for your support. Now, back to the video.
Full action.
But you see, I just remembered something from the scriptures. Last Saturday, I was speaking to my choir members and we were discussing this particular scripture in Matthew chapter 25. And it speaks of the parable of the the servants who were given different talents.
Mm.
The one who had 5 talents, the one who had 2, and the one who had 1.
I think that's more light.
Most of the time, people are more interested in us who have the... I don't even know where to classify myself, but supposedly, us who have the 5, we are the ones that people focus on. They don't even focus on the people who have the 1 to even make sure they are doing it right.
That is the point.
Because someone could actually be just more privileged, I would say, to have just one thing that the person is so great at. So yours is like a direct path that you can just follow. This is all you are doing.
Mhm.
But oftentimes, we are more interested in the people who have like the jack of all trades, and those people want to find out. So
They are so interested, like, oh, how can you do this so effortlessly?
The whole idea is that once God has given it to you, He has given you the ability to handle everything. Because the person who had the 5, he had that ability to do everything with the 5 that he had, and also got more. Just that you may not necessarily have to operate in all dimensions at
That
once.
is the point.
Because there are some things I didn't know from the beginning that I could do, but until I started doing with what I have, then I realized that, I could also add this one. I could add this one. So all of them probably may not be needed at once. But I mean, at a season when it's needed,
Mhm.
then so for me, that's my take on like people with, yeah.
Okay, so if you really have, you be like, okay, jack of all trades, I want to narrow down. You narrow down at what you are best at, what you are good at.
Exactly.
And we are saying what you can scale. If we say scaling, if I can grow this, okay, does it have the tendency to bring resources? Can I place a value on it, X or Y, and it will solve problems? Okay, if it has the ability to solve problems, it has the ability to attract value, and it has the sole ability to be scaled. So you look at those talents you have, look at that particular one that has the greatest or the richest potential to attract value and can solve problems, and you can scale. That is my point on it.
Yeah.
Because I really thought, okay, the essential point to note in this is not especially the resources it can bring, because some has the potential to bring resources, but it doesn't have the potential to fulfill purpose.
To fulfill purpose, it's not needed like in that particular time frame.
You get it? So it's like, okay, this has the potential to bring resources. That is all what I want. And it's like you get there and you feel empty. You feel like did I really have had to, or did I really have to settle in this kind of scope or this angle and say, okay, that's what I want to do? You get there and you still like, you don't feel it's enough.
It is very true.
And mind you, this cosmos is still governed by time. Okay, you get to a point you realize that you didn't need to focus your time, your energy, and that little resource you even have to even scale it to a point you really get there and feel like, I think I should begin or start something else. You see, and I really think as a jack of all trades, people really get to that particular level. They will get there and be like, okay, I have to start all over again. I have to do this all over again, and I have to start afresh. It doesn't. You don't necessarily need to start afresh all the time. That is where I think you focusing or looking up to the higher power, God, comes in. Because one thing is certain for sure, and this is me using my life and my own experiences as an example. God will not be omega over something he wasn't alpha on. So he is alpha and omega. He is the beginning and he is the end. So you wouldn't want God to be omega over something he wasn't alpha on. You wouldn't begin something, do it to a certain point, and you would now come back to God and say, God, where help is all gone, your strength is exhausted. That means you've grown weary at that point. All help, resources squandered, all gone. Now you look back and be like, okay, now it has gotten to a point that it has gotten out of your hand, and you know that the only person that can perform a magic or that has the touch to redefine everything is like a higher power that you need to put your trust, your faith, and all your belief in. That is where you turn to God. And I really feel like, and I really know, I don't actually feel, let's put more emphasis on this. I really feel that when you come back to God, ever loving, ever great, ever graceful, ever grateful, even to receive us, he will tell you, oh, bring me the pieces of this shattered destiny, this shattered project. Everything that is broken, bring it. I'm the master repairer. I'll fix it because I am the manufacturer. I designed it myself. I designed you. I designed everything that you are using, everything that you are putting into perspective to grow. I was the one who actually designed it. I was the one who actually put it inside of you. So bring it. And now, when you bring it, he wouldn't begin from where you actually stopped. He will now take you back and start all over again. Because if he has to be omega over that project, over that particular talent, over that particular system, that particular value you want to scale, he has to be alpha. So when he's alpha on it, he can show you that, you know what, when we get to level 2, you have to jump, you have to creep, you have to crawl, you have to stay still and do nothing. You have to wait until the storm passes before you start sailing again. So there is a lot of dynamics. There is a lot of understanding. There are a lot of lessons, failures that you need to go through in order to achieve what you are achieving. And all those things will be lessons, valuable lessons that you can't skip. And you will be able to document those and actually even scale your lessons to be valued, that you can even get resources from. So actually being dependent of God, that is the actual main signs of self-reliance. The ability to take care of yourself, your mental construct, to know that there are a lot of things that come into play in what you want to do. Mm-hmm. You are always going to be ahead of the game. What is the game? It's not actually the game of life, as I say, like it's just play or something that is trivial, but you always be ahead of a certain threshold of success. Okay, either the top 10%, the top 1%, whatever percentage you would wear to get yourself. I really feel that the science of self-reliance, psychologically, being able to actually think, should really stem from that. So, with my variation, where do you think you can actually, prune? It was a lot. So, prune the part that stuck with you.
Well, yeah, I talked about basically everything. So,
he has said it all.
He has said it all. He has said it all.
Yeah.
Well, as you were speaking, I think when you talked about the part of going to God to find out, you see, God did not make a mistake for what we just discussed, people who have like sort of a whole lot on their plate to do. God did not actually make a mistake. So if you are confused about which of your ideas, which of your talents, which of your skills you should hammer more on,
go to the manufacturer.
You always have to go back to him and ask him. The fact that he's giving you the voice to sing may not necessarily mean that's what he wants you to do.
Yeah. So I actually said something back in uni. Ben was like, "Oh, yo, God, you're a good singer. Why don't you write lines? Go into music." Like, I really felt like, the fact that you have a good voice doesn't mean you're a musician.
You should rush to the studio to record your songs. I sing, but I mean, I'm a backing vocalist for. Shout out to Pastor Boam.
Pastor Kofi Boam. Broken Pencils. Everybody check it out on YouTube. I think it's destiny defying. It really did something to my heart. Yeah. So Broken Pencils. I recommend that. That is number 1. Broken Pencils, yo. Yeah. It's not actually, I don't have a favorite, but when you really sent me the link, we talked about Broken Pencils when we were discussing the Talking Drum podcast. You remember? That was planning and plotting time about the Talking Drum podcast, and you just recommended it to me. You told me a background story about broken pencils. I was like, let me go check it out. When I really heard the song, you told me that song was like unrehearsed. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't really planned.
Actually got it like 2 days to the recording.
So you tell me. So the history and the message that was behind the song, the message that backed the song, it was destiny defining for me. I really understood that song was. It didn't really come from it's deep, yo. Just go check it out. You will know exactly what I'm talking about. Broken Pencils by Pastor Kofi Boam. Yeah.
Sing, yes. I was saying the fact that you have the voice to sing does not mean rush to the studio to go and compose your songs.
Right.
There's a lot of technicalities involved there. And has God told you to do it?
Knowing
for people like that, I think what you should do, I sing, but I'm a backing vocalist. I'm not, I mean, God has not told me to go and record any song.
Record albums.
Because there are also a number of things that He wants me to do, not necessarily. So the fact that you have a lot of gifts, ideas for a lot of projects does not mean you should start rushing and doing everything at once. Ask God, which one would you have me do? In as much as I love music, I also love science and how the understanding and of like the complexities of science and how I'm able to break it down and let other people understand. It's also a joy to me.
Sure.
So I would not leave that and say, okay, I have this. I want to concentrate on only this. Okay, I love arts. I love to draw. Okay, I want to concentrate. No, ask God, which one would you have me do? And which ones have you given me as like a backup or something? So that you'll be able to identify what is top priority and what should be worked at. Jack of all trades. You see, I wanted to chip in that they said he's a master of none. He's oftentimes greater than someone who is also a master of just one.
Oh, that is the first time I've actually heard that, to be honest.
All boils down to scaling it down to know which ones are necessary and hammering on.
Okay, now it's now starting to make sense.
Exactly.
Yes,
most of the jack of all trades, they are master of none. They are just doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay, I do a little bit of podcast. I do it. But the real ones, the continuation of that particular phrase, they oftentimes is the people who have had like a serious analysis to work things out.
Oh.
They are oftentimes better than the master of one.
So it comes with a condition, actually.
It comes with a condition. So you probably could be, you came into the world, all you know how to do is to sing. I could also have a voice and be able to play the keyboard. I could be able to interpret, to teach, to do that. But scaling down to know which ones are my strengths, I have the gifts, but which ones to concentrate on at which particular point in time. If God tells me, wait, now you can do everything, but I want you at this point to venture into the music ministry. Trust me, if I follow that leading and work on it, I may end up becoming better than one who is only into the music ministry.
I think I now understand the emphasis. I really understand the phrase better now. Yeah. Because it's like, I always used.
I was like, wow, this is a.
Yeah. So I felt like, okay, owner of none, okay. But now with us diving deep into the science, the psychological part of it, and how to break it down, how to really go step by step, I think I now understand it better than I used to.
I want to understand when I heard the full thing. Yeah.
Okay. So now we really feel like with the science of self-reliance, we have established the fact that you have to first rely on God.
Ultimately.
Okay, so from there we really look at the ability to take care of oneself. That is, think intuitively in order to focus your goals, your values, and everything into the act of you achieving success.
Right.
Okay, we've built the fact that you narrowing it down to things you can do, things you can actually do to fix problems. That is, you knowing it can face problems, knowing that it has the ability to attract value, and now you can scale that and be able to gather resources. Now we gather resources, we know now we can now diversify when we have actually gotten to a point where we feel like we are now buoyant enough to spread our wings and fly. So the science of self-reliance is actually looking to yourself, looking at the pros and cons, looking at what you can do, looking at what works for you. If you are really in a scope or in a surrounding where you think everything is clustered, you really have to sit down and, as you said, sitting down and making an introspective analysis of yourself also means you have to write, because it goes hand in hand. If you are not really that kind of person who usually writes and really analyze things in a sense that you have to really have a signal to noise ratio, as we mentioned in the previous episode, of you having something what you can do, or to the to-do list, and the ratio being the noise, things that really obstruct you from achieving what you want to achieve. You really need to write all those down. Now you start to attack them one after the other. That is where we build systems around those ideas and those principles, and we really stick to them, because motivation is like a tank. It will not only take you there, it can run out. But with the system we build around all these philosophies, we would know that we have a discipline quotient to attack them, even when we feel we want to do it or not. So I really think it is much more clearer now to anybody listening to us, and knowing that being self-reliant does not mean you have to be self-dependent. That is over-reliance on oneself. That will lead to isolation. Isolation will lead to attacks. Isolation will lead to you being a shell of yourself, or a shell of that particular idea you really wanted to become. So you being self-reliant is also mean that you being able to diversify, allow people come to your circle, seek the opinions of people you trust, of others, people who really think can push you to the next level. And I believe that when we put all these structures in place, we can be able to achieve what we always want to achieve.
Said everything. And to conclude on today's episode, for anyone watching this particular episode, what I would just want to tell you is that in as much as you strive to be reliant on yourself, both emotionally, mentally, physically, and in terms of finances, you always make sure that you are not over dependent on yourself. God made us, and He's the only one who is self-sufficient. And so you always have to be humble enough to credit that to Him, that He's the ultimate, and that your dependency is of God and, of course, the Holy Spirit. And then you make sure that you are not isolated from people. Mind you, you need a lot of people around you. God has deposited gifts and whatever you need in other people around you. Don't look too far, and don't base your experiences to catch yourself from people. It will do you no good. Finally, on to today's episode, we just want to tell you that being self-reliant goes a long way to helping you achieve all your goals. So always remember that it starts from your mind. Train your mind to think, to make sound judgment, and everything is going to fall in place. Thank you for watching today's episode on the Talking Drum podcast. Kindly share, subscribe, keep on liking it.
Like, subscribe. Please share the videos.
When we send the links out for the episode, please share the link to your friends, your family members.
Share it to somebody, and I think, yeah.
So this is how we sign out on the Talking Drum podcast. My name is AJ, and
I'm NYAME. I think NYAME is, the name is actually NYAME now, so it's like a phrase. God is saying, God is speaking, God speaks.
Do 10 toes every day on my grind. I just want the money, if I sit I know they fine. Do the yeah, boom boom boom,
NYAME.
no dime. NYAME over there, you be a better fine. All these guys don't remind me